Today, we're tackling a deeply counterintuitive philosophy about our relationship with money. If you've ever felt that subtle, persistent knot in your stomach when you check your bank balance, even when, objectively speaking, things are totally fine, well, you're definitely in the right place. We are going to completely reframe how we interact with our finances. We're moving away from cold, rigid spreadsheets and diving deep into the emotional currents that actually drive our financial lives, all guided by the insights of Ken Honda, who's widely known as Japan's best-selling Zen Millionaire. So let's kick things off with a pretty weird question. I want you to ask yourself right now, is the money in your wallet smiling? I know, it sounds crazy, but to understand where this comes from, we have to look at a super memorable story from Ken Honda himself. He was at a party in Nagoya, Japan, when a woman just walked right up to him and asked to inspect his wallet. She literally took out all of his paper bills, studied them carefully one by one, and started sorting them. Imagine a total stranger doing that to your wallet. Okay, let's dive into this. When she finally handed the wallet back, she looked at him and said, "You passed the test. All your money is smiling. That means you must have made a lot of people happy." She went on to explain that if you're taking advantage of others, or if you're working a job you absolutely hate just to put food on the table, the money in your wallet is crying. It's literally angry. But if it's smiling, it means you received it through joyful service. The core premise here is just revolutionary. Money isn't just a piece of paper or a digital number on a screen. It actually carries an emotional energy based entirely on how it is given and received. Section 1. Is your money smiling? Defining the emotional charge of our finances. And this brilliantly illustrates how Honda categorizes all currency into two distinct types. First, you have happy money, which is positively charged. It's the money you earn doing work you genuinely love, or the cash you joyfully spend on a gift for your mom, or even just paying a utility bill with real gratitude for the electricity it provided. Then, on the flip side, you have unhappy money. This money is heavily burdened. It's the paycheck you earn with deep resentment at a toxic job, the cash you hoard in fear, or the bills you pay through gritted teeth. Here's the wild part. The exact same dollar amount can be happy or unhappy. The only thing that changes is the emotion you attach to it. So, let's try a quick thought experiment. If money were an animal to you right at this exact moment, what would it be? Really think about it for a second. For some people, money is a friendly, approachable golden retriever. It's loyal, it's there to protect you, it brings comfort. But for others, it's more like a feral, elusive cat. You desperately want to pet it, but the second you reach out, it scratches you and disappears into the bushes. The animal you just pictured, that reveals your unconscious relationship with your finances. Section 2. Money IQ versus money EQ, the two sides of financial intelligence. Traditional financial advice focuses almost entirely on money IQ. We're talking about the cold, hard numbers here. Investing strategies, tax laws, budgeting spreadsheets. And don't get me wrong, that stuff is essential. But the massive blind spot is money EQ, or your emotional intelligence regarding money. This is all about how you actually feel about your wealth. It's your childhood traumas, your deep-seated beliefs, your ability to just feel at peace. Honda argues that emotional healing, your money EQ, absolutely has to precede your financial strategy. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how these two sides interact. You can have a remarkably high money IQ, like you know exactly how to leverage assets and read the stock market perfectly, but if your money EQ is low, you will still be deeply miserable. Emotionally reckless people make terrible financial mistakes. Actually, Honda has met billionaires who complain bitterly about the rising fuel costs of their private jets. It's wild. If your money EQ is low, you will always find a way to be stressed out no matter how many commas are in your bank account. Section 3. Healing your money wounds. Uncovering childhood financial trauma. If you take absolutely nothing else away from this explainer, please let it be this gentle truth. You aren't bad with money. You are wounded. This simple realization is a game changer. It instantly lifts that heavy layer of shame so many of us carry around every day. Money is merely a mirror, and our toxic spending or hoarding habits are really just reflections of underlying emotional wounds that desperately need our compassion, not our judgment. Honda points out that our financial patterns are typically locked in stone by age 15. Think about the examples he shares from his own life. When Honda was 7, he was denied a mountain bike for his birthday because it was too expensive, which instantly created this core belief that he just wasn't worth the money. Or another time when he was 5, he accidentally poured a whole month's worth of green bath salts into the tub. His mother scolded him like he was a monster, teaching him that wasting money was this devastating, unforgivable sin. Or maybe, like a lot of folks, you grew up hearing your parents fighting bitterly over unpaid bills behind closed doors. These early, seemingly minor memories unconsciously drive our adult fears. As a result of all those childhood wounds, we adapt. We fall into these unconscious money personality types. Are you the compulsive saver, always hoarding out of fear? Maybe the compulsive spender, seeking joy but constantly finding yourself broke. How about the money-making addict, trying to out-earn your own insecurity? The worrier, who literally does nothing but stress? Or maybe the indifferent, who completely avoids even opening the bills? Recognizing which of these profiles you fall into is step number 1 towards self-awareness and balance. Let's move to section 4, the flow of happy money, creating an abundant current. So Honda learned this profound concept from his mentor, Wahei Takeda, who is often called the Warren Buffett of Japan. The concept is Maro, which translates to a true, sincere heart. It is a state of complete selflessness and ego quietness. The idea is that when you reach the absolute peak of money EQ, your Maro expands, and you naturally become magnetic. Instead of frantically chasing wealth out of panic, good opportunities and good people simply flow toward a sincere heart. It's the ultimate goal for engaging harmoniously with the flow of money.
And to cultivate that sincere heart, Honda offers the simplest, most transformative tool in his entire philosophy. He calls it the Arigato practice. Arigato just means thank you in Japanese. It's a 2-step process. Step 1, arigato in. Whisper thank you when receiving money, no matter how incredibly small the amount. Step 2, arigato out. Whisper thank you when spending money or paying a bill. I know, it sounds almost too simple to work. But it acts as a tangible tool for soul hygiene. It fundamentally shifts your everyday stressful transactions away from scarcity and transforms them into profound gratitude.
To show you just how powerful this practice is, consider this really surprising anecdote. Honda's mentor, Takeda, was once approached by a man who was absolutely drowning in debt, desperately begging for a loan. Takeda agreed to give him the money, but on one very specific condition. The man had to say arigato 100,000 times first. 100,000! It took the poor guy months to complete this task, but by the time he finally finished whispering thank you 100,000 times, his internal energy and mindset had shifted so radically that his financial situation completely turned around. And get this, he didn't even need the loan anymore. But to maintain that grateful flow, we have to watch out for 3 major roadblocks. First up is guilt. That's feeling bad when someone pays you or offers a gift, which effectively just turns abundance right away at the door. Second is shyness. Deflecting compliments like a Teflon frying pan, refusing to let any good energy soak in. And third is needing to look like a good person. This is when you charge way less than you're worth or give away resources when your own cup is totally empty just to appear noble. Blocking the inflow through any of these starves the reciprocal cycle of generosity and abundance. Because remember, if you refuse to receive, you are literally robbing someone else of the joy of giving. Section 5. Redefining true wealth. A paradigm shift in financial freedom. Truly redefining wealth requires a massive shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Scarcity is all about that exhausting hustle culture. It's obsessing over amounts, hoarding everything out of fear, and just endless stressful grinding. Abundance, on the other hand, is much more of a Zen attitude. It's joyful earning. It's recognizing that money is a lot like a healthy river. It absolutely needs to flow in and out. If water stays stagnant, it becomes toxic. But most importantly, abundance is cultivating that deep internal feeling of enoughness. A huge part of achieving this abundance is understanding your money container. We all have an internal capacity for how much wealth we can comfortably hold without our lives completely cracking under the pressure. But here's the good news. This container isn't entirely fixed. It naturally expands when you discover your unique gifts. The things you love doing so much you'd gladly do them for free. And you align those gifts with a why that is much larger than yourself. When you serve a greater purpose, your capacity to receive and hold wealth safely expands right along with it. So if you feel like you keep hitting a financial ceiling, it might not be a math problem at all. Your container might just need to grow. So the crucial point, the absolute core thesis of Ken Honda's philosophy is this. Money appreciates if you appreciate it. When you bring genuine gratitude to your finances, it literally transforms both the actual value and the daily experience of your money. It turns cold, hard currency into a warm, flowing current. Which leaves us with one final, super practical thought. We've talked about smiling wallets, childhood traumas, and the flowing river of abundance. But the real shift, that happens in your very next transaction. So the next time you swipe your card, pay a bill, or hand over $1, will you whisper, thank you? Seriously, try it.
It just might change your entire financial life. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and until next time, keep learning and keep appreciating.